What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 57, and we start today's episode off with McGregor signing a new one-year extension to his current contract, and also Mark Beavers comes to us and says thanks for giving me an extended run in the team, and we also decide to request some funds as well because we are just about coming up to January. It's Boxing Day at the moment, and we ask for £2.5 million, and I also said that if you give us that, we'll reach the FA Cup semi-finals, or did I? No, I didn't actually. Okay, fine, I just said that just give us £2.5 million for the hell of it. So we'll wait and see what happens there. The board have been very, not very cooperative since we took over. Of course, last year was a clear example of that, when they wouldn't give us any money whatsoever. They basically forced us to sell one of our star players, James Henry, to be able to afford some contracts and to sign another player in Kelvin. So the board haven't really been very cooperative, despite our incredible run with Millwall. From what you would consider Championship mid-table at best side to now a Premier League side that's in the top half of the table. They haven't been very cooperative, so I'm not very confident, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course with McGregor as well, I mentioned in the last episode, I know you guys don't like him, which I still don't fully understand why, because he's not as bad as you guys think he is. I'll explain why goalkeepers will always look bad for you guys. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Goalkeepers are always going to look bad for me because I usually only show very brief highlights and the goals. And therefore all the goalkeepers are going to look quite bad in the game. But anyway, yeah, McGregor, as I said, I'll explain why I've offered a new contract very soon, and you'll wait and see the thinking behind that. But anyway, the first game of today's episode, and I have to apologise by the way, guys, I'm feeling very sick at the moment, and have done for the past couple of days, so if my voice sounds a little bit off, I do apologise over the last couple of episodes and the next few ones. But yeah, anyway, we did take on Arsenal for the first game of today's episode, and Flamini scored for Arsenal in the 39th minute, so we were behind here early on. Of course, our unbeaten home record is still alive as things stand in the season. Haven't lost at home yet, but Flamini did make it 1-0 to Arsenal here in the 39th minute, so not the best start, and as things stood, it was going to look very bleak for us. But in the 39th minute here, Kelvin's doing some skill just for the hell of it. Gives the ball to João Vitor, he gives the ball to Edenilson, so the Brazilians link up here. Then back to João Vitor, then back to Edenilson, then back to Kelvin. So the Brazilians getting a good feel of the ball here as Kelvin keeps the ball on. Tries to beat Kieran Gibbs here, can't do it, but he wins the ball back. Then gets past him with the scoot turn, so good stuff by Kelvin. Crosses the ball in towards the head of Danny Ings. His header is well saved, but it comes to Seb Larsson. And Larsson, the reliable midfielder, puts the ball into the back of the net against his former club. And that makes it Millwall 1, Arsenal 1. So yeah, Larsson, of course, the player who started his pro career at Arsenal, makes it Millwall 1, Arsenal 1 as he scores against him there. So it's 1-1 here, and in the 45th minute, a good chance for us again. Kelvin shoots, it's blocked, but Danny Ings keeps the ball on here. Chesney must have thought the ball was going out of play. He keeps the ball on. Oxlade-Chamberlain ends up giving the ball away. Larsson shoots, but he can't get his second goal of the game as Chesney makes the save, and Arsenal managed to clear the ball away. So still 1-1, and in the 55th minute here, Arsenal are through again. It's Ramsey who crosses the ball in. Mandzukic heads the ball only onto the post though, so a good chance for Mandzukic, but he can't find the back of the net. It's still 1-1, but in the 62nd minute here, Gibbs loses out to Edenilson, plays a great free ball to Kelvin. Kelvin's got the space down the right hand side. He beats Jack Wilshere here. He keeps on going with the scoop turn, ends up passing the ball out wide to Edenilson. Lovely pass. Edenilson crossed the ball in, great cross. Danny Ings has a free header, and he puts the ball into the back of the net. So Ings scores. It's another goal for Danny Ings. That makes it Millwall 2, Arsenal 1 in the 64th minute, and we are in front in this game for the first time. However, in the 72nd minute here, Arsenal onto the ball down the right hand side. It's Danilo crosses the ball in, and Fabrizio, well, he's been such a reliable centre half. Fabrizio, he's been a really good centre back, but that is one piece of defending which he will not want to see again. The ball came in, it was crossed into him, it was at a good height for him to clear the ball away. He didn't seem to time his header right. It deflected off him, went up in the air, and Podolski was at the far post to turn it in. So a mistake by Fabrizio hands Arsenal a point in this game, and that was a real frustration as well because it was a balanced game and getting a win would have been vital for us. A point is not bad against a very good Arsenal side, but to have a defensive error that cost us the second goal and the equalising goal, that's a real shame. But it did finish 2-2, and it's not too bad, and we'll have to be happy with the point really because it is a good result. But considering our good home form, I would have liked to win in that game. But the board came back to us and said they will give us £1.5 million. So Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's not great. I was hoping for a little bit more, but that's not too bad. And maybe we'll be a bit cheeky and request some more in January and wait and see what they say. But we are indeed into January now, which is great. So the transfer market is now open, which is fantastic. And the first transfer offer we get is for Danny Ings. It's from Real Sociedad for £3.8 million, and he's the league's top scorer. He's in incredible form, and £3.8 million. You know, just 800,000 more than what we paid for him. What an absolute joke. So, yeah, of course we said no, and we rejected all future offers, because that's just... Like, come on now, seriously, £3.8 million. He's got to be worth at least triple that, you know, at least as things stand. He's playing so well. But anyway, here is the squad report, the first one of the new year, and see how the players are doing as we enter 2016. And yeah, it's an okay squad. I'm you know, for January, I'm not really sure whether we can bring in any big names. We won't really have the money to do that, but I'm just not really sure what area we should look at for January. I think what might be best is to sign some pre-contracts, sign some players on pre-contracts, or possibly look for a new goalkeeper, because you guys don't seem to like McGregor. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there. But yeah, the squad is still okay, and of course Kelvin is now an 80 rated player, so that's great. We finally got our first 80 rated player of the series. And of course, you can see by the league table, halfway through the season, we have played 19 games. Of course, halfway through, we're in 6th place with 30 points. So that's really good. 8 wins, 6 draws, and 5 losses. 26 goals conceded is a bit of a worry. However, it's to be expected, really. And one of the things I should say as well, by the way, is that one of the reasons you guys think that McGregor is bad and, you know, he's the reason we're conceding so many goals, I understand why, but that's not 100% true. One of the reasons is because we don't have a proper holding midfielder this year. You know, when we started off, we had Nicky Bailey who can play holding midfield. When we came into the Premiership for the first season, we had Frimpong on loan, who is a holding midfielder. João Vitor is not a natural holding midfielder, and it may sound like nothing, but it's true. It's completely true. You know, a lot of the goals can come through the AI passing the ball through the middle, and because we don't have a proper defensive midfielder, that's one of the reasons we're cut open a little bit more and we're conceding a few more goals than usual. So yeah, like, I do know McGregor's not the best of goalkeepers, but he's not as bad as you guys think, so, you know, lay off him a little bit. But anyway, we offered Nathan Baker a pre-contract for next year. We have been using the global transfer network behind the scenes. The reason I do it behind the scenes is because otherwise we'll just have emails and emails and emails full of loads of players which I'm not interested in, and it would just take ages to sort through them all. And I think it's better to just keep the ones I'm looking at and then show you the ones I'm going to approach on pre-contracts. We also bid for Tom Ince once again, because I would love to get hold of Tom Ince, and also Lee Cattermole, who is an actual holding midfielder. He has his contract expiring at the end of the season, but as I said, I'm definitely thinking about picking up a holding midfielder for the rest of the season, because at the end of the day, João Vitor is okay, but he's not that great, and we really could use a proper defensive midfielder. And Lee Cattermole, I know a lot of people don't like him, and I think that's fair enough due to his reputation and his aggression. However, he is the sort of player we need. I'm not trying to be known as like this ethically and morally lovely manager that plays nice football. I want to win stuff. I want to win games. And with Lee Cattermole on the side, I know he's not really the sort of the player for my type of football, which is passing the ball around. However, we need at least one midfielder that can tackle. And, you know, I say can tackle when I consider his red card record. But what I mean is that I need a midfielder that's not afraid of tackling, not afraid of putting the boot in, and, you know, trying to break up attacks. So that's the reasoning behind possibly trying to sign Lee Cattermole. However, I'm not really sure whether I'm going to go through the bid. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, we have a scout report here from our youth scouts based in England, and we signed a player called John Joe Anderson, maybe as good as John Joe Shelby, who knows. And there was also another player that looked quite good. We continue to scout on him because I want to see what he looks like after another month. And also Nyland is going to go to Middlesbrough on a short-term loan. Now the reason for this is obviously because Nyland is stuck at 69. He does not want to grow at the moment, and I'm hoping that the same thing will happen to Nyland like it did with Ryan Gould, and that was when he finished his loan spell, he started to grow. So with Nyland, my reasoning behind this loan is that he'll go to Middlesbrough. he'll, you know, come back 3 months later, and in the next squad report, we'll see growth he'll start to progress to the 70s. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It might not happen. He might still stay at 69, but that's the reason behind that. And we'll have to wait and see. It doesn't really matter anyway, because McGregor is our first choice keeper, and we still have 2 free agent goalkeepers, so it's not like we're gonna have no goalkeepers in the squad. But anyway, the last game of today's episode was against Manchester City here at the Den, and of course taking on City, one of the powerhouses of the league. However, they're not performing very well this season, so I did sense blood. I did sense a good game, which we could probably look to claim our first 3 points against Manchester City for the series. And of course, we did draw away at the Etihad in our last game this season, and we played really well in that game as well, and probably should have won. So I sensed that we could probably get the win in this game. And Negredo almost made it City 1, Millwall 0 there in the 19th minute, but the Spaniard's header went just wide the post. In the 37th minute though, Liam Trotter goes for a header, it's cleared away. Carrasco gives it to João Vitor, who shoots, but Pantilimon, who had a great game at the Etihad, looked like he was set for another good game here. Really good save by the giant Romanian goalkeeper. However, from the corner, Larson crossed the ball in, it's up in the air. Fabricio goes for the header, and it loops over the goalkeeper, and it goes into the back of the net. So it's going to need some serious loop if it's going to beat 6'8" Pantilimon in the air and go over him, but it did, and Fabricio made it 1-0, and that was how the game finished. It was a really uneventful game, so I have to apologise for that. Nothing really happened, but at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't matter too much because we did get the win. I was hoping for a bit more action, but the 3 points is the most important thing, and I was very glad to get another win against another big team. And as always, guys, a big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.